Welcome everyone. Welcome once more to our weekly healing meditations. This meditation will be designed to complement the angel message of the week for the week beginning 28th of March 2022. So while this is a channel message from the Keepers of the Keys, it does not matter when you come to this meditation, only that it is designed to complement the angel message for this week. And the crystal that came through for this week is Haematoid Quartz. Now, Haematoid Quartz is also called fire quartz. Let me get that into the shot, if you can see that there. Now, Haematoid Quartz is a clear quartz that has hematite or iron oxide inside it. Now, Haematoid Quartz can vary from the yellow spectrum, which is golden healer, all the way to the red, and can have strawberry quartz. But this is the more orange variety, and this one actually happens to be the first crystal that we are working with in terms of the healing meditations that is available, and I have quite a few in stock as well. So this is 26, this smaller piece is 20, and then another example is this one for 33. So they're just examples, and that's in Australian dollars. They're just some examples of Haematoid Quartz, but it's this particular Haematoid Quartz that came through. And while the message actually did mention Haematoid Quartz and how you can support us in creating the life that we desire, it is interesting. It's always interesting to me because when it comes to pieces of crystal that are the same, like the same variety, why was it this crystal that came through and not this one, for example? So it is all about energy signature. So this is why I do crystal readings. If you want to find out what is the perfect crystal in terms of vibrational match, and in terms of the healing that your soul is wanting you to align with, then I certainly can do that, and I can tune in and tell you what the crystal it will be working with you on. But in this case, we'll be working with this Haematoid Quartz and the divine consciousness of this Haematoid Quartz, and in relation to the question, the angel message of this week, it's about being the conscious creator that we were born to be. So the angel message was about how we can be tired. I know it is a time on the planet that everyone's at a saturation point with everything that's been going on in the world, and that can be hard to find our motivation to do things and really go get them, so to speak. The other thing that the keeper said, that we may be at a crossroads. Now, for some of you, and even indeed for many of you, that can be either a choice point. You're either going to go one way in a direction in your lives or another, and it can be a very big decision. In other words, a life-changing decision. So it may present itself as a crisis in your life, and that can be really daunting because A, you may not know what choice to make, or B, be afraid to make the choice that you must make, but it's just going to so change your life, and there'll be people affected and involved in that decision, that it can be daunting and hard for us to follow through on that decision. The other thing that the keeper said is that when it comes to those choices, it can be hard to have clarity around what those choices are. So in terms of how they spoke about in this the angel message of the week about how Haematoid Quartz can support us, is one in the first step is to release all that is blocking or is not in alignment with what you are choosing to create. So this can be difficult because there are many things within our subconscious mind, and by definition, if they're in our subconscious mind, they are not brought to our awareness. So how can we release that which we are not aware? Indeed, it's not possible. So we must be aware of the patterns that we are releasing, whether it's a particular belief, an emotional, behavioral, mental, or energetic pattern, even an ancestral pattern. or pattern across lifetimes. So the awareness certainly does assist us in this. And then once we have the awareness, we can set the intention to release that. But that is still a process that may require healing. It may require definitely some conscious working, whether it's therapy or any other modality, journaling, inner child work, ancestral healing. There is so much that you can be doing when it comes to releasing some of those blocks and limitations. So the second step, they said, was then having the clarity. So once you've released all that is blocking or limiting your capacity to anchor that which you are working on in bringing into your physical reality, and as I've said before, we can feel it and it's almost we can taste it, but it's not here landing in our physical reality, and that can be frustrating because of a thing called divine timing. So I'll mention that. I'll circle back to divine timing in a moment. So to have clarity means that we can start to be clear on what it is that we need to decide on, what choices we need to make, those that are in our best and highest good, and those that we know these are the best choices. We don't always make these best choices because we have free will. We can make choices that are not good for us. But if we can find a choice that's also in alignment with our higher will, like our higher self, because we hold that within our divine blueprint or our soul's agenda, then we can be making the highest choices for us. And the clarity will help us in making those choices. It can also help us to see what are the next steps that we need to take, and that's really important. And it can be difficult when we don't know where we're heading towards. It can be important to have a vision of where we're heading towards, but sometimes we can feel so stuck or so uncertain about where to be going that we only need to begin with the next best step. So the next step that is in alignment to where we want to go, the next step, and even if we don't know where we want to go, the next step that is in our best and highest good. And they can be your intentions that you ask, you pray for guidance to give you or show you what is the next best step on your path, on your healing path, on your spiritual journey, on this journey through life. And the third step, they said, was about taking aligned action. And this is where the energy of fire quartz or haematoid quartz can help us. It can help ignite that fire in our bellies, that passion that can help us move forward, that can propel us into action, particularly when we have been tired, we have been overwhelmed by everything that's been going on in the world. It helps. Haematoid quartz can help to energize you and to propel you into the action, but also making sure that's the aligned action, because we can be very busy in doing, but if they're not aligned action steps, then we can just be caught up in doing and we're actually not getting anywhere. And I think we've all had those days where we felt like we've done so much, we've been busy all day, but you feel like you've got nothing to show for it. And then other days you have just been more relaxed and easygoing and gone with the flow, and then things just fell into place for you, and you're like, oh, you know what, I didn't even realize, or I didn't even intend to get to create this, but all of a sudden I completed that was done, and everything was just easy. So we have all experienced those easy days and those really more challenging days. So the aligned action is then important. So, in circling back to divine timing, the reason why I mention that, because in our physical human experience, it is the part that we become most impatient with, because divine timing is nebulous. There's not usually a specified time when you will receive something. Now, this is not always the case. There are some things that are set within your divine blueprint that has a particular timing. But when we're creating many things, and even things that may be in our divine blueprint, we may have set conditions. Conditions, in other words, that condition A must be met before the manifestation will arise. So that may be all the things that we need to release. It may be the right steps that we need to take, the right people that we need to meet, and all of those cogs in the wheel, you may say, need to have click together in the right timing for you to manifest. And often it is our own readiness, and our own readiness is influenced by whether we've done the releasing work, where we've made the right choices and we've taken the right steps. And with all of that, we are doing that in a feeling of faith and trust, and feeling that it is there for us, and that we are, this is what the keepers said, that we are co-creating with the divine, because at each step we can pray to them, we can call them in, we can ask them to co-create with us, and then we can know that each part of the process is divinely inspired. And then we can say, okay, we may need to have patience. And like I said, that is the most difficult thing to do. I know I have really lacked patience in my life when I've been wanting to create something, because it is hard to have faith at all times, particularly when you're going through things that are difficult or challenging in your life. Not always realizing, because we don't have that higher perspective, that sometimes it's those very challenges that you're moving through that are helping you move into the right space for you to receive all that you have been calling in. So that's certainly been my experience. Things have not necessarily come easy, because that's how I set it up within my divine blueprint, my soul's plan. So without further ado, I will call in the keepers of the keys, and we will work with the energy of Haematoid Quartz. Now, we have worked with the energy of Haematoid Quartz previously in one of the weekly healing meditations, but that was my larger personal Haematoid Quartz sphere. And I would love to hear how you go in the difference between working with a larger piece and what is a palm stone, one that's very easy to meditate with, carry with you, hold in your hand, whatever it is that you are doing. So yeah, I would be curious to see how you perceive the difference in energy. Now, the difference in energy will be that it's a different meditation. It's certainly a different stone. And like I said, different stones, even of the same, similar size, has a different energy signature, but there's also the difference in size. Now, when people ask me, is there a difference when it comes to size? I say yes and no. Yes, because when the larger the piece, the more you have the repeating pattern or the crystalline structure within it. No, when you are working with the divine consciousness of the crystal, as we are. When we work with the divine consciousness of the crystal, there's no limitation to spirit. So they are part of the divine, because they're connected to the divine. It's just the part of the mineral kingdom of the heavenly realms. Now, the other aspect or the way we can influence the power of something is when we put crystals within a grid. So certainly that's why I work with crystal grids when I work with clients. So you can have, if you're really wanting to work with Haematoid Quartz, a number of Haematoid Quartz crystal pieces that you are then putting in a grid, and that will amplify the energy. So these are different ways that you can increase the energy, the power of the crystal in the way you work with it. So the crystal must be not just charged, but what I call awake. So the divine consciousness must be awake within the crystal, and so that we can work with it. And I have experienced crystals where the divine consciousness came out of it and filled a whole room. And so when I say there's no limitation, there really isn't. And certainly not for my clients who are experiencing the energy healing I'm doing on the other side of the world. So there really is no limitations. Okay, so I'll remind you to not do this meditation while driving or operating heavy machinery, and remind you to drink lots of water after the meditation, and certainly do let me know how you go. So let me now call in the keepers of the keys. Welcome, dear ones. We are pleased to bring this meditation to you, and we are pleased to bring through some of our own teachings of crystals, and in this case, Haematoid Quartz. And while we will not do this in every weekly meditation and every weekly angel message, we will every now and again do this, for we enjoy bringing through our understanding from our perspective of what these may do. So let us begin when it comes to the meditation. Let us call in the higher selves of all who will participate in the eternal moment of now. As we gather a symphony of light with Aria, Vicky's divine collective, and Araya, her higher self, together with the councils of light, the archangels and the angelic realms, Melchizedek and the order of Melchizedek, the Christed beings of light, Father, Mother, God, connecting into the great central source, the great central sun, the great white rose. As we bring through a pillar of light to you and through the temple of Blue Volcano, through your bodies, and through the crystalline grids, down through the lower chakras, and into the heart of Gaia, allowing this energy to flow back up in an ever continuous circulation of light. Then expanding through your energy fields, to create the sacred vessel container for this session for you, for this healing meditation for you all. And so we now connect with Haematoid Quartz, activating, connecting with the divine consciousness of the crystal. Sending it to you and through you, surrounding you, and filling you up from the inside out. Supporting you. Not just through this meditation, but through the energies of the week, all that you need to go through, all that you need to release, all choices and steps you need to be clear on, and all the aligned action you must take. Allowing this to open into your bodies, through your hearts and the back of the heart, so you may trust, connecting into your sacral and up through to solar plexus, filling your guts, your digestive systems, navel chakra, and solar plexus. Lower energy centers, all in relation to being human and relating to the world and yet also connecting to heart. So you may fuel the engine of feeling, of joy, of love for what you are doing, what you're creating, and what you wish to bring in. Connecting into the outer edges of your solar plexus and into the diaphragm. So you may breathe more easily, dear ones, as we release trauma, blocks, energy blocks within the edges of your diaphragm. So you may breathe more fully and more easily into your bellies, so that you may provide the oxygen to your fire. So your fire may grow and build and be ignited. So that you may fuel your vehicles, your vessels, with the energy to propel you into your week, into your choices, into your actions. So you may be clear in what are the best intentions for you to be setting, particularly as you move through to the new moon in Aries, the first fire sign of the zodiac, and indeed the first sign of all. That relates to the personal, to the I. You as the individual. Connecting with his fire to energize you, propel you, and inspire you. So breathe in with this inspiration, which is all about the breath, for it is carried upon the breath. And let us support you to release all that is clouding your judgment, your discernment, your mind. Allow this to anchor into your heart and integrate with your body. So your body may fuel you, and so your body and your mind, as well as your soul, is in alignment with all that you are creating, mind, body, and spirit. And opening through the libraries of light, we allow this to move through your multidimensional DNA, through your bloodstream, to strengthen you and support you. May you find the strength, dear ones, in doing all that you must do this week and beyond. All the choices you must make. And the action you must take. Let us bless you upon your path. Bless your bodies. you're calling in your best and highest good. Connecting deeper into your bellies, from solar plexus, through navel chakra and into sacral, into the back of solar plexus, hard in the lower back and the back of sacral. May your bodies be energized, fired up and ignited, breathing with the breath of life, the breath of the earth. You may stand between heaven and earth as a divine vehicle for all that you are meant to create. And so it is. Thank you everyone for joining me in this meditation. Allow yourselves a few moments to connect with your bodies and the space, the room that you are in. The birds certainly have a lot to say. They are the rainbow lorikeets for those who aren't familiar with the birds. They are very playful, joyful, enjoying the pause in the rain. And may you find joy in this week also, everyone. So from my heart to yours, I send you much love.